Hello, and welcome to another episode of A Ghost in the Magazine. I'm Stef.
And I'm Elle.
And I'm Mel.
And I'm Matt the C.H.U.D.
And this is a Hot Pocket. And we're in our third week of 31 Days of Horror. You guys, you're alive. You made it. Yay.
We're here.
I'm just glad to be back.
Always glad to have you.
I'm making more appearances and it feels nice.
It is. We like seeing your face around here, around these parts, the hillbilly parts of the internet.
Parts. Not in the bathroom, which is where
Right.
I'm accustomed to recording from.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
We need a soundboard of obnoxious sounds.
I
Do not put me in charge.
I'm super tired. All right. I worked a lot this week, like I do every week, and I've been up since like 6 with like soccer stuff and barbecues and all that shit. So I'm just I'm kind of tired.
You barbecued too hard?
I ate barbecue too hard. It didn't assist in the sleepiness.
Oh man, it'd be like that. It has been like that times in my life as well.
I ain't complaining.
Well, let's get rolling then. So let's start with our rankings.
Wait, Mel, did you watch all the movies? No.
All except for C.H.U.D and what's the one? The night one?
Oh, One Dark Night.
One Dark Night.
Yeah, all the rest of them I saw.
Yeah, that's that one with Heath Ledger in it, right? One Dark Night. Or no. That's that one with Martin Lawrence when he goes back in time. What? First Night? That's a funny movie.
All right.
No, I didn't see any of those movies. I'm sorry.
Elle said no.
So let's start with Matt. Since he has the least, he only has 2. What's your ranking, Matt?
Okay, I think, Steph, I saw yours. I think mine are going to be wildly different. I only watched Castle Freak and C.H.U.D 2, and it's been a little while since I've seen them, but they're pretty fresh in my memory. I'm going to give Castle Freak a 3.5. Yeah.
Okay.
And Bud, let's see. C.H.U.D 2, a solid 2.5. But those movies are in my wheelhouse, though. You all already know that.
Okay, I would start with Hell House 2. I would give it 4 C.H.U.Ds. Yeah, I know. I'm kind of a House fan, though. All right. And then I would go Apollo 18, 3.5 C.H.U.Ds. Then From Beyond, 2.5. Then Two Evil Eyes for Edgar, 1.5. And then lastly, Castle Freak with 1 C.H.U.D.
Oh my god. I'm not gonna give my C.H.U.Ds until the end. I'm just gonna give my from least to most, I guess.
Okay.
Just because I watched them all, but like
I'll do the same.
You guys have such differing views because those are the areas I need to hear things about because I don't have anything to say. So my list was, I put Two Evil Eyes at the bottom. I did not finish it for bitch reasons. Bud the C.H.U.D, Hell House 2, Castle Freak, The One Dark Night, Apollo 18, and then From Beyond was like up there. It like in general, even for all the movies we've covered so far.
I am a strange mix of Steph and Matt in this case. So my lowest movie was Hell House LLC 2. I was very disappointed in it as a fan of the first movie. My second from the lowest would be One Dark Night. My third was C.H.U.D 2. Fourth would be Two Evil Eyes, and that only placed so high because I liked the first one. The second one can suck my dick. My third overall is Castle Freak. My second is Apollo 18, and my top is From Beyond.
Now, can I ask a question? I didn't watch From Beyond.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's on Max right now, right?
I don't know. I watched it on
Okay.
Tubi.
It's
It's
on
either-
Tubi.
Is that
Yeah.
the one that has, I feel like I've scrolled past it a bunch of times. Is that like a late 70s or early 80s? And does the cover art like look like Lady Gaga? Is that what I'm thinking of?
Yeah, it looks
Okay.
real stupid. It doesn't look like what it is at all.
It's just
I-
like
I
a
wouldn't
picture
say-
of her going like this.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Okay, all right. I didn't watch it.
I would like to amend that I have seen One Dark Night. I guess I just tried to erase it from memory because of all the dead body slime or whatever. But I did see, and the best part was the clothes. The outfits were popping. Actually, if you want to talk about wearing your '90s attire, you could definitely take some outfits from that movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right.
right.
Well, we're going to go out of order this time. We're going to go ahead and start with my lowest of the two that Matt watched so we can get Matt done and on with his day. And so we'll start with Bud the Chud.
Up top, I have thoughts up top. We've all seen the original Chud, right?
Except for
Yeah,
Mel.
well, Mel hasn't.
Mel hasn't. Okay.
I'm
Then-
just bring this conversation.
You won't appreciate this nuanced opinion of how like I don't understand the departure in the character design from the first film. We've talked about it. This isn't a Chud film.
Oh,
And I believe it was adopted from like some sort of zombie movie, obviously, like, but they just wanted to put like C.H.U.D licensing on it for some reason because C.H.U.D was such a great film.
Blockbuster.
But
Not
I do not understand the character design. Does that have anyone else? A little
the
bit.
whole thing had me puzzled. Okay.
The weird teeth and the like, I guess like dark circles around the eyes and then just looking weird and
Oh, I'm
They
talking
had
about
like shark teeth. Oh, come on.
the fact that they turned him into a golden retriever.
Oh no.
Did
We
you guys
fell for
watch
it.
this? Did you guys watch the same
Matt!
one as me?
We
Shut-
fell for it.
C.H.U.D
Matt!
2 Air Bud.
We fell for it.
C.H.U.D 2 Air
Girl.
Bud.
I'm not doing this.
Oh, thankfully I have actually watched Bud the Chud. But yeah, he's just the teeth are terrible and it's
The shark teeth.
yeah, it's fucking bad. And the main like kid in quotation marks, the guy with the underbite, right? That guy's what's his name, like Brian Robbins or something? And did you know he's like the CEO of Paramount, Nickelodeon, and like all that shit right now? And that's for real. That's not me fucking around.
Are you serious?
That's
That shit's for real.
amazing. Manifestation. Go from playing somebody on Bud the Chud to being a CEO.
Yeah, let me pull it up right here. Brian Robbins, Brian Levine, better known as Brian Robbins, is an American business executive and actor and filmmaker, and has been president and CEO of Paramount Pictures and Nickelodeon since 2021.
Damn.
Facts.
Boss bitch.
Wow, I never
That-
would have expected that.
That said, he's an awful actor.
Just terrible. They're all terrible. It's all terrible. That's really all I had
It's
on
funny
this
though.
movie. I didn't-
I loved it.
I don't know. I didn't have a good time at all.
I did.
I was trying so hard to pay attention. It's not always like that because I thought the first Chud was funny. But I don't know.
This
I
is
like
such
this
a
one
moving,
better than the first. Sorry.
what's the-
moving love story.
What's the tone
It's a
of this?
coming of age love story.
No, it's like the tone is I don't know, weird science with zombies instead of a hot lady.
Oh yeah, there is weird. I get weird science vibes. Yeah,
I got
except without
yeah.
some problematic vernacular while at the bar from Anthony. Was it Anthony Michael Hall?
Yeah,
You
none
can't
of
do that. Can't do that.
Mm-mm.
I mean, you
I
could
got-
back
no.
then, but you can't now.
No.
I got Encino Man meets the stuff. That's what I thought.
Is that a
I liked the
caramel
stuff.
apple sucker?
Yes.
I'm not. I've
My
been really
first of the
jealous of
season.
it. I
Nice.
haven't had one yet. I
Oh, the
want-
stuff. We had an argument about the stuff. Elle and I strongly disagreed on that.
Yeah, I liked it. It was goofy.
Very
It was.
goofy.
I was having a good time until they showed with chocolate chip Charlie in the holes in his face, and I got real sick from that. It made my skin itch.
She started picking
I
at
don't
her
like it.
skin. I was like, get the picture off. Turn the picture off.
I'm already itching now just thinking
No!
about it.
Banish it.
Literally.
How many permits did they not attain when they locked that kid inside of that tanker?
I had no idea what the hell was going on.
That's like a confined spaces violation.
But and then the government showing up at this kid's house, and the mom's like, "What's happening?" And he's like, "Your kid's got my property. Let's go." I'm like, why even bother showing up there in the first place? Just kidnap him. You're the government. Just snatch him up off the streets. I don't condone that, but like, get it over with.
I already forgot why they even went to the government lab, to take him.
Because they lost
thought
the
it was like a-
body.
Oh yeah, they
right.
lost.
The
Yeah, that's right.
cadaver. Because
It
it
was
rolled down the
literally-
street.
Literally, this body, and it's on a rolling stretcher thing. Ended up getting it outside and rolling away. And now they're on an adventure to get him back, but he's alive.
Did you like the Foley work though?
No.
It did sound like he's eating an apple.
No.
It was awful, but it was awful funny. Okay, I had a good time. It wasn't like
There's
I guess
nothing
part of-
there.
yeah, part of
Oh.
it is I didn't have any expectation for it because Matt already told me it was crap. So like I was looking for that theme song, that Bud the Chud theme song, which
Okay, that slaps.
it's beautiful.
That
It's like
slaps. That's
it would fit
the
in the
only
Doll
thing.
Man theme song track, like the Doll Man soundtrack. There we go. That's where it would fit.
yeah. I would have liked it better if Doll Man showed up somewhere. I just didn't
God,
like
yes.
it. I didn't.
That's
enjoy
not
myself.
be disgusted at the same time. She's just
Yes.
About when he's watching that lady working out. She just fucking lights a cigarette up right afterwards. It's great. And she orders like some
Okay.
pizza and shit.
Okay, but I identified with this woman so hard. All right, she's in her aerobics outfit, and she's like, "I gotta do this because I fucking drank a lot, and as soon as I finish this, I'm gonna order a pizza." Hell yeah, girl.
Me too.
That's how we get in shape. I like it.
That's why
Whatever
I run.
shape that is, that's the shape I like.
She was ready to fuck.
She
Bud
was.
the Chud.
Right, but he had to show her his teeth, like, keep them shits closed, hidden until you're in the bedroom, my guy. But she started screaming, he was like, "Oh, okay, gotta kill her."
typical.
Uh,
Yeah. Fun movie. I don't have a lot to say about it.
Yeah.
It's great. The pool scene at the end's completely ridiculous.
That's not how electricity works. That's not how anything works. Like, but there we go. That's how it ties in with the original movie. How many times was I saying that's not how science works when I was watching Chud?
Oh, the manhole covers and all that shit. Yeah, dude. So bad.
all I can do is shake my head.
I
Steph
gave it
wants to get
2.
past this one.
Too
I gave it
long.
2 Chuds.
What did I
No,
give it 3.5.
I think so.
Sounds
Yeah.
right.
I don't
What'd you
even
give?
remember what I gave it. But it wasn't good.
One.
Oh,
It was 0.5 or 1.
Yeah,
oh yeah, I get half chud.
Half Chud.
But the chud gets half chud.
He had a half chud out there when he was watching that lady work out.
Yeah,
I was gonna say
did.
it's the bottom. It's the bottom half of the chud.
Yeah, you gave F shit.
Was it a stinger where like he puts his like thumbs up or something, or like his face was like just barely poking out of the frozen water or whatever was going on?
The diner full of zombie chuds. Stop it. Get
Oh,
off
that's
me.
great.
Excessive
Get off,
force
get
on
away.
those chuds, you know.
Oh my god.
But like he was just really wanting to ask that girl for a date when he was up on that diving board, but he just didn't have the words.
Mm-hmm.
He
He did
wasn't
have
being
shark teeth though.
wasn't being very aggressive. It was a terrible movie. I loved it.
Terrible.
Terrible movie. I loved it.
Terrible. Awful.
Let's move on to Castle Freak.
Okay, I have words.
I'm prepared.
Okay, I texted Elle. All right, I didn't know what I was getting into, but the man in this movie is just the worst. The dad, the husband. Okay.
He's also the worst at acting drunk.
Oh, terrible.
He was bad at that. Yeah. No, yeah, he
Terrible.
got everything he deserved. He probably could have got a little bit more. But they were all generally a little bit terrible. The blind daughter was pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought she was good.
I have thoughts.
Okay.
He's better as Herbert West, I'll say that.
My boy Herb.
I thought that was some of the worst blind acting I'd ever seen in my life.
Yeah, but compared to everything else, what's your list? What is high on your list of good blind acting? Please give it to me.
I'm guessing Castle Freak's probably right
Ooh,
up there.
Jamie Foxx, Ray Charles.
Oh man, yeah, that's a good pull. I can't think of anything.
Yeah, but that wasn't at the top of your head. Mel did that. You weren't thinking of.
No, I said that's a good pull.
No. But I want to know what your top threes are.
What's that one?
What you're comparing to?
I got one. What's that one where the kids break into the blind guy's house and he's like,
oh, we talked about that last episode. Yeah. Don't breathe.
Yeah. That's all right.
Good blind acting. But I'm not judging this girl.
How about Luke in Star Wars when he's wearing the helmet? He's hitting away those things with a lightsaber. He's kind of like faux blind, right?
I'm not gonna count it. I'm gonna be that guy.
Okay, I only got the one. I'm gonna be honest. I feel put on the spot.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's it's okay. I'm not gonna judge her either way, just because she's just playing a blind teenager whose parents are divorced, and her dad is incapable of not cheating on the mom. So
divorced. They should. So
yeah, and the lady was trying. She was trying. It's not her fault she can't get over the cheating, but like with what we've seen here, I feel like he didn't try very hard. How long were they there? And
I think it was the cheating. She couldn't get over him negligently killing their son, basically.
Yeah, that's a problem.
That too. I forgot about that.
Playing his little Bandai Tiger like handheld game in the back seat and dropping it and shit. Just being belligerently
he was drunk driving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unforgivable.
The thing that I'll say about this is I looked at this as this is a full moon feature, right? This is a full moon production, whichever like era of that they were in. The writing and the story development and the character development for it being a full moon movie.
Good.
Exceptional just because of what it is. This isn't Demonicus. This isn't
Puppet Master.
They've done so much worse garbage than this. So that's why maybe I place it a little bit higher.
Booga booga.
Yeah.
But can I ask this? Does this movie feel like it came out in 95, or does it feel like it came out in 85?
85.
Big time.
I didn't know it was 95.
For the like sexual stuff, which I felt like was a little bit more indicative of the time.
Well, the Castle Freak took the sexual stuff a little bit above and beyond.
Okay.
Definitely 100% disgusting. It could have done without the mutilation. So
I texted Elle because
not for me.
I wasn't expecting that. Do they get into like the origin of what, like why he's a monster and like why he's in the castle at all? That kind of
No.
pissed me off because
Yeah.
like what are you doing here, brother? And
His-
like,
There's a
and it-
shrine.
oh, he was
He was the
that.
son.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, but like, all right, I guess.
So it read more like Hills Have Eyes to me, but he was enclosed instead of out in the desert. He was like he was kept there. The problem I had with the Castle Freak was this is a victim of obvious abuse and he's turned into like a monster. Which there's like narrative reasoning for it. However, it feels icky. It just feels icky. I don't like it. I don't like the way that they told the story, I guess, in that respect. Especially with the other part, like it was weird to me that I was watching a movie where the subplot felt more compelling than the main action, especially in a scary
I feel like there was
movie.
more of it. There was
Yeah.
more of that than anything about him. And then all of a sudden they throw in that first of all, his body's fucked up. He has no penis, but he has a very up close and personal crusty ball sack, and he bites this lady's titty off. Why are you throwing that in? Help. Somebody send help.
Had you mentioned the ball sack, because once they showed it, they would not show it.
Oh,
The balls
that's why I texted L.
It's like
It's
the
a-
go there scene. I was like, oh Jesus! Like,
I basically said, I'm so sick of this man's. I hate this man's crusty ball.
Yeah.
Ball sack, yeah.
really went from like abused ogre wanting to be free to like sexually depraved Frankenstein really quick.
I hated it.
Yeah,
Yes.
really.
He could have been like, oh, I don't know.
Can I say one
No.
thing?
Yes.
You would have smelled this guy a mile away.
100%. Good point.
Yeah.
That part.
And he was athletic than a motherfucker. I was like, buddy, you've been eating what kind of salami and molded bread? Because I'm over here buying protein shakes and stuff. Like, I need to know. Like, it just
And he was
like
chained up.
right. It was so
Hardcore.
cool that he just was like super strong. Like, I was like, no way, he could barely get up in the beginning. So they're trying to imply he got strong from drinking cat blood and
Yeah.
blood. Gross.
He had huge calves too. Like that's just like kind of an
Yes.
oversight. Like there's no, he shouldn't have had huge calves. He should be all
No.
atrophied and shit.
Never look at his calves because the ball.
I never saw his calves either. Ball sack was front and center. Okay. Front and center. And I was
Fair
pissed
enough.
off about it.
Speaking of a half chud,
Oh, I burped and that was awful. Like,
So we
The
had
Joker, the burp.
Crow peck titties, you know. Now we have titties bit off by a dungeon eunuch.
Yeah.
I'm gonna scrub this movie clean of my brain. Okay, when I get out of here, and I'm never gonna talk about it again.
Yeah. That's except for a great title. Title's perfect.
Yeah,
That's exactly what occurred. There was a freak in the castle, so and he just like got freakier, you know,
and it was confusing. I was just confused
yeah.
about not the story. It was pretty clear. And that father was still negligent after killing their son and just didn't watch the blind daughter in the castle she's never been to before. Okay. While there's a missing sex worker, hello, and he's being framed, hello. And then the cops, they're just the cop.
isn't that like her cousin or her brother or something?
It was like the lady who cleaned in there, that was her brother, and so they blackmailed him. They add that in there for extra measure, just in case things aren't spicy enough. I don't know.
And then there was another cop that ends up getting the sex worker's son that must have been related to her at some
Yes, yes,
some way.
that was her baby daddy.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a damn soap opera.
Yeah.
It's set in a small town, so.
Italy, definitely, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Barbara Crampton, though, we gotta just add. I mean, she's a darling, and I just like
Mhm.
seeing her on the
Yeah.
on the screen. I love her.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy is the guy from the other movie, right?
Yeah.
From Beyond. Okay.
Both of them
Yeah,
are.
and her too.
Yeah.
Her too.
Wait, they're
Yeah.
in that movie too?
They're in From
Yeah, they
Beyond, yeah.
are.
They're
Yeah.
a dream
Okay.
team. I love them.
I guess I gotta go watch it now.
I highly recommend.
Reanimator, yeah, all right.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
All right.
And I
Terrible
watched it.
movie.
Yes.
3.5 chuds.
Just
Loved it.
dreadful. I gave it a chud. I did. I gave it a whole chud, even despite the ball sack.
You gotta admit though, like the freak itself looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Practically. I mean,
Rusty.
especially the
Practically.
ball sack.
Practically, I was very disturbed by the ball sack. So yes, if that's good, it was good.
Did the job.
How many chuds,
got her
Mel?
done.
I give it one chud, basically for like aesthetics, you know, like it gave Castle. I mean,
It
you know,
did.
Yeah.
and
It did give Castle.
and I like castles. So, you know, I thought that they didn't do too much to get like busy with that, like try to give him some weird backstory, or, you know, it wasn't like too Quasimodo, like, you know. So I kind of I didn't hate that, but pretty much everything else I hated. So
I am still a little bit lost on the backstory. Like, you faked your son's death or some shit. Like,
Yeah.
It's just weird. It was very
I
weird.
think there had to have been some kind of an accident because he's covered in scars. And so I think that what happened was they were so like repulsed by him after the accident that they decided to just put him in the dungeon instead of having him out, because this is aristocracy, right? Because she was a duchess. So there's obviously social consequences to it, which is terrible. They don't lean into that part of the story, and that's
I feel
why
like they could have and they should have.
They could have and they should have, and that's why I actually I gave it 3 chuds, and I'm oscillating between 2.5 and 3 chuds here, and it's because there are things that it does right, and the atmosphere is pretty damn good. And I'm not mad about watching it. There are movies that I have watched, especially this month, that I am fucking mad about wasting my time watching them. This one wasn't one of them.
Even though he bit that lady's titty off.
That was fucked up. That was fucked up. Did not enjoy that part.
That was
I was mad.
To do it again. I'm just like, haven't you eaten enough titties? It just
right.
Aren't you full?
If you
want to full of titty.
Right. Haven't you had enough? Like, and just to show us those like amazing titties first and then have them chewed away. It was just like
disrespectful. Disrespectful.
Yeah, but I mean,
would it have been better if they were ugly, saggy titties?
No, because I really
we respect all titties. Right. All boobies matter.
The thing is, we got to see them in their amazing glory. Not saying like a different titty would have been less amazing, but it's like, and then he's like, no. I mean, it was terrible. So
she's a very pretty lady.
Yeah,
she was gorgeous.
Yeah. So I kind of didn't blame the one guy because he was a crappy guy anyway. I mean, his wife was
and she was hot. I get it.
He came faster than Matthew McConaughey in True Detective season 1.
I'm leaving.
True.
He did though.
It's not his fault.
Oh, I gotta go, guys. I'm sorry. Glad you could have me. Glad to be here. Glad you could have me. That sounds weird.
Well.
And this is where I tell you where you can find me. You can obviously find me locked down in the bottom of a castle like a castle freak. See you guys later.
See you, Matt. Thanks.
Keep all your bits down there.
I cannot believe we fucking fell for that. I'm always like, we're too smart to fall for his shit. And he fucking got us.
Got you.
Unbelievable. Matthew.
All right. Our next movie that we're going to talk about is Hell House LLC 2. And we're going to let Mel go first since this was high up on her list.
Her jam.
Okay. I gave it 4 chuds, but mostly because, you know, I love a cult following. And Hell House has a cult following, like Halloween, like Friday the 13th, like it's a modern found footage cult following series essentially. So I mean, I kind of like the idea of that. And also what I like about this one is by the time I'm going through the haunted house, the Hell House, in this one, like I know the house. They didn't switch it up really in terms of the layout of the house or the setting. A lot of the props are the same, so it's really easy to stay on board. And you know what? I'm kind of in it for the cheap scares too. There are tons of cheap scares, but they're solid because you expect them to be one after the other, kind of haunted house style. So, I like that they upped the ante a little bit with it drawing people in, even though that was a touch corny for me, but you know what? It was kind of scary in its own way.
It was pretty corny.
It was definitely corny, but I think it's kind of like you have to ask yourself, does the barometer for corniness change for found footage? For me, it kind of does. I mean, the Blair Witch Project is corny, I mean.
I really like that one.
Right?
Yeah, okay. So like I'm not here to shit on any movies, even regardless of what I said about Bud the Ched. Okay. I'm not here to shit on a movie because I like a lot of shitty movies that other people do not like. And we've heard about that on this podcast. Okay. It's been all over the place. We know what Steph likes. I think I'm just a different kind of horror viewer than I used to be. I think that I've just changed a lot, and maybe the season I am in my life, I'm less why don't I like this movie, and more like I hate it. I hate this.
Yeah.
And I kind of shut down after that and don't always allow for there to be redeeming qualities. But especially right now, because if we were doing like a regular week where it's just one movie to focus on, I feel like it may have a fairer chance for me. But this feels like every day I'm like, no, I don't have the stones for this. it's just not, I just wasn't engaged in this. And I didn't have a bad time watching the first Hell House, but I didn't like it enough to like the things that you appreciate for me to appreciate them.
I almost like how basic it is because a lot of horror movie scenarios are really out of hand. You don't have to ask yourself necessarily like, what would I do? Like there's nothing you could do. You get eaten too, but like here there are kind of some dumb decisions in places where you could mentally interject yourself with a little bit of what would I do? But
yeah. And this absolutely in real life has potential to fuck me up because I fucking love a haunted house. I do. And I always, when I go to Halloween Horror Nights, I feel like I've said it on this podcast, there's always that little voice, even though I used to work at Universal, I understand. That's like, what if this bitch is real? Then she's gonna kill me.
Yeah, I like that. Every time you see one of the props, you're asking yourself, is this the moving prop, the demon, or whatever? I didn't necessarily like the way they tried to physically connect it to hell. That was too much for me. I didn't really need the preface to the lake of fire, so that part was a little blah, with the caretaker doing his monologue. And like, you guys are gonna sit there and listen to him do this, Tales from the Crypt Keeper long ass monologue. I mean, I just continue hysterically and trying to get out. That makes more sense.
Yeah. Yes, that pissed me off. I did not give a shit what that old man had to say. Like, stop talking. Stop it.
So my problem is I didn't hate the first one. And this one, I wanted it to be over 45 minutes in. The main characters in this were insufferable. I didn't like any of them really, except for maybe the guy that was like the the OG filmographer or whatever that was like making
being interviewed. Was that the guy being interviewed?
Yeah, he was interviewed in the
Yeah.
beginning and stuff. He was kind of a snarky bitch, but like whatever, like I can deal with that. The other characters were like pretty uncompelling. Like I didn't understand why they were so, and the acting was really bad on their part as well. Um but I mean, we are
I like
in
that sometimes.
The acting is bored in the Hell House movie. Just gonna throw that out there. It's pretty. I can't think of a standout actor. Whoever's in that clown suit, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh
There
yeah.
we go.
That guy sucks.
There's this guy.
Yeah. The way I described it is the characters are ill-defined cliches played by actors that seem to struggle to deliver even the goofiest line. So like that was my problem with it, and it was exhausting. I just needed it to be over, and they tried to like build on the lore in a way that just didn't work. It was fucking boring. I wanted to punch that old man so bad. Like shut the fuck up.
That definitely was the worst part. For sure.
I think the reason I rated it so low is because I had high hopes. It was my hopes being dashed that made me rate this low.
Maybe a little bit me also.
Because I had a good time. The first one was good. The first one I had a good time with. This one I was mad.
I don't know if you guys heard, but they're doing a prequel movie. I shared it on Twitter.
Yeah.
I hope it's good. Please be good. Please be more like one.
I do. Maybe they I don't know. Maybe they have had a chance to sit down with what they felt didn't work. I don't know if they workshop these things. I don't know.
I mean, they kind of have to do like what we were talking about with The Nun and just decide what's working in the movie, even if it's one costume and one actor, actress, whatever, like, and take that and nothing else, that might work. For me, it's all the props in the literal haunted house. The haunted house itself is definitely a keeper, especially for like a found footage run through all corners and stuff where there could be, just something creepy standing there. I like that, but I mean, the dialogue is lacking and the exposition is confusing.
Yes, but the hotel has a great name, especially if you like supernatural, and they could have just left that, like
the hotel is very creepy.
Usually I like it when they dive into the lore, but this one was an exception to that rule.
You're like, oh, where's the lore? Never mind. Put that back in your back pocket, sweetheart.
Shut the book. What are C.H.U.D ratings on this one, guys?
I like houses. I gave it a 3.5, 4. So
yeah, I gave it a half C.H.U.D. Sorry.
I gave it 1. There are things about the setting that are really compelling, but I really felt like they kind of like fumbled the ball with it. So it was it was disappointing to me just because I liked the first one enough. So
there's definitely potential for me to maybe change my rating if we cover this 1v1, because I also watched the found footage movie The Outwaters, and if we're just gonna compare like found foot, like there's no comparison, and so maybe that also affected the way that I felt about this movie too. I'm just trying to be fair.
That is fair. Found footage is high on my list, It's like watching a YouTube video. It's like really modern.
The next movie on our list, going through my list, is One Dark Night.
Okay. I liked this movie. You know that I fuck with camp. I love camp, and this movie is rated PG, so I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing? And I really wanted to be fair, right? I thought this movie was hilarious. First of all, I love the mannequins because it's just like covering mannequins in shit. Like that's the budget. Like spaghetti and grapes, peeled grapes in a bowl that you stick your hand in blindfolded, and it's intestines and eyeballs. That
And
was this shit.
everything is moist.
Everything is moist. Everything. The girls trying to be pink ladies with their purple jackets and sisters. And
Yep.
it's very clear that they're only fucking with this girl, Julie, or whatever her name is, because she's dating Carol's ex-boyfriend.
Mhm.
And then second of all, Carol and her boyfriend looking like they're in their fucking 30s. Okay? Carol looked like their mom. What are you doing here, Carol? It was funny. And then Elizabeth Daily being in there, like, it's so cute. It's cute. It's cute. And it was like fun. It's cute and it was fun. And I had a good time.
I have a problem with the plot that just hangs on the jealousy of girls over some fucking mediocre ass man.
Right. They're everywhere. They're crawling. The world is crawling with mediocre boys, especially the white ones. Like, just find another one. Just find one.
Hit him with your car.
But they're allegedly teenage girls, so that's like a very common teenage girl theme.
I could go without another movie that's the I get that they're teenage girls. I get that but how many fucking times have I seen this?
Well, this movie's old.
I don't care. I don't care if it was the first one to do it. I'm tired of the trope. I would rather gouge my eyes out than watch another fucking movie that's the trope that the entire thing hinges on. Because
I think they just do it because it's easy. And this was like an easily put together movie. And I feel like it just all went hand in hand for them to do it. I'm not condoning it and I'm not saying that there should be more. I just think that's what happened.
The only thing I liked this movie for was the goopy corpses. Other than that, fuck this movie. I was bored.
Yeah. I kind of agree with that. It was a little bit boring, but for me, every single one of the characters was a stereotype, a borderline sensitive stereotype of that. Especially I was like, man, put on a toothbrush.
Literally, she pulled the toothbrush out of her pocket, and I was like,
okay. Don't do that, right? So that I hated. I mean, the plot was so boring. The guy was like. Today he did jack shit. He fell unconscious and still got credit for saving the day. And I just was like, man. So and also it was so frustrating to me to watch those like 1980s problems of him trying to figure out where Julie was when that could have been solved with like one text message in like a modern was so slow. He literally had to down and like talk to people. You seen Julie go to a payphone? Have you seen Julie? I was like, wow. Today it would have been like tick 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 tick. Julie, where are you? So
I thought it was so funny. I just thought it was so funny. It was like a long episode of Goosebumps. Like
it did give kind of like Goosebumps,
I love Goosebumps.
And gang bang. I didn't know you could die from that. So like it's good to know. But it was gross. About this movie was Julie's outfit. That outfit slap. The Nike Cortezes, the faux velvet pants, the flannel with the knit cable sweater over top. Yes, Julie, and the blazer. The blazer on top of all. You gotta be a boss bitch to pull that off. Like, wear that today. I'm telling you, just accessorize it with a little bit of gold and take it from me. It would just be popping right off.
I love that. I love that take because I wouldn't have given it, but it's a fact. They're making Julie to be this kind of character, but I felt like that there was a big piece where she just switched into like someone else and it was extra annoying. Was because she's very brave, but it was like when the boyfriend was telling her like, I don't understand why you want to be the sisters anyway, she literally snapped and put on this extra whiny voice and was like, I'm just trying to prove that I'm brave and I'm not a pussy. And she ran away. I'm walking home. And I was like, that doesn't feel like her. Like that doesn't, it really doesn't feel like her.
And when he showed up to the mausoleum because she was crying hysterical because of what she had actually seen. And he was, Julie, you need to fucking listen to me, snap out of it. There's nothing here. These girls were pranking you. And she was like, like, oh wait, what? No,
you know that's not true.
And then, I mean, here come the ghosts, and what is he doing? Slipping and sliding in slime.
Yeah, and
So,
pees his pants like a little pee pants boy.
yeah. So she did that the whole movie. I don't know. The fawning, ridiculous.
Ugh, I'm not into it. She was a good character by herself. Like, you got this. Relax.
She took her sleeping bag. She was ready. I would have said no from the jump. I mean,
Right, because that's one thing I said in the movie Talk to Me. I'm like, I'll be damned if I let teenagers punk me like that. Fuck off. Where's your mom? Like, go, like, leave me alone. Go away.
yeah, she already had the guy. I mean, I would have told Carol to go
She won.
pack a Winston's and,
go fuck yourself.
it was giving 80s.
Yeah.
Two
I thought it was
chuds.
funny. Yeah, I gave it 2 chuds. So that's fair.
1.5.
Bet.
We're pretty together on this. I think we just had different things that
I
stuck
think that's
out.
funny.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny because I can have a good time in a movie and like recognize that it's absolute garbage. Like I cannot rate Evil Bong high even though it's so fucking funny to me. I can't. I can't. It's not a good movie. I just had a good time.
The OG Evil Bong is a good time. I would say the Ginger Dead Man versus Evil Bong one can go fuck itself, but
It's still so funny. Like it's so stupid.
there's a line that gets crossed where I get annoyed with the movie wasting my time. This one didn't quite cross that line. Like I said, the goopy corpses made up for it.
Yeah.
There were things. I was just really bored. Yeah, the middle of this one and the middle of Hell House LLC, the middle of C.H.U.D 2 dragged for me.
I just remembered another contributing factor. I watched this movie first.
Oh, so you had like a fresh perspective on it.
Yes, ma'am, I did. Because I thought it was going to be the worst. So I said, let's start here. It wasn't the worst.
I say it a lot, but yeah, there.
This week, honestly, the worst from this week doesn't even begin to scratch like the worst in some other weeks. So, like,
yeah,
that is very true. This week has something.
The next one in the list, though, it's Two Evil Eyes, and we need to talk about this one. So, this one I gave 4 for the Romero one because it was okay. It was imaginative. It was very George Romero. And I gave 0 for the Argento one because I don't want to see cats getting strangled twice and then have to see a lady get murdered by this misogynistic piece of shit. Fuck you. I don't want to see that.
yeah.
I'm not having a good time.
I had a really bad time. I did like the Romero one. I thought it made me have nightmares about life insurance, but I liked it. I had a good time, but then this one started fucking crazy. Like his ethereal wife is like, I got this cat, we're gonna keep her. And then I can't do it. He's literally choking the cat out and then hitting his wife. And I just said, oh, no thanks. No thanks. I already sat through an hour of the Romero one, and I was willing to sit here for a whole nother hour for your bitch ass, and you're gonna hit your wife. Delete, blocked.
Same place. I watched the Romero one through, and I avoided the traumatic other version.
Argento. Why would he do that? Like, why would he go that route?
A lot of horror movies do. I mean, we talk about it all the time. There's a fine line between scary horror and trauma porn. I mean, so yeah. I think that's kind of the reality of it. And to be honest, that is a lot of people's worst nightmare, especially women. I mean, a lot of our worst nightmare is to be abused in our own homes. I mean, do we need to be exploiting that as a horror genre? Probably not. My personal opinion, but that's my personal opinion. So,
well, And they had been living together for like 4 years or something, he said, because the neighbor assumed that that was the wife. I watched it all the way through. I wasn't happy about it, but I watched it all the way through. The neighbor approaches them later and says, where's your wife at? After he kills her, of course. And he's like, oh, she's not my wife. She left me. And then he's like, we just have been living together for these 4 years. So like something snapped in him apparently with this cat, but we don't really see why. We don't see what their relationship was like beforehand. He's just, it's just, I hated it. And I like, for me, animal abuse is like such a low tier. Like, if you're gonna tell, and Argento did the fucking Argento thing where he decided to cudgel you with fucking sound. I don't like that. Tell me a good story. That's the problem that I have with Argento's movies a lot of the time, is like he'll get the aesthetic down, which really, I mean, is that here? Kind of. Not as brilliant as like some of the other movies. Like the palettes aren't really rich, and there's nothing really, like no real story there, I think, in as far as the setting here. I mean, it's just like a regular old ass house. I guess the like weird like cat babies eating the bodies at the end is kind of gross, but
What?
yeah, he like walls her up. So the end of it is like he takes her body and walls her up with the second cat that he got and murdered that was pregnant. And then the baby cats come out and like are eating the dead body when the cops find it. It's grotesque, which I understand the grotesque, but there's like symbolism and meaning behind it that I think was lost in this adaptation of the story, because it was just about that like shock of grotesqueness and that shock of violence, which is something that annoys the shit out of me in some of Argento's other works, because you feel like you don't have to tell a story because you can just shock someone or you can just bludgeon them with sound. And it pisses me off. It's like, you're supposed to be telling me a story here, and it's annoying. It's annoying. Also, I don't forgive him for Dracula. Fuck that. Fuck that movie sky high. I will never forgive you for that.
No. I don't know. I agree.
I only saw the Romero one, and I like how it tried to pay at least some homage to the Edgar Allan Poe piece, both The Tale of Heart and The Pale Blue Eye. Do you guys read either one of those?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, right. They were solid now. That was solid stuff. So I think trying to take it and put like a modern, I guess, almost like commercial spin on it. It's like, what do Americans worry about the most? Money, you know, and put that in there. So I didn't hate it for that. So I gave it like 1.5 for like trying, but it was pretty annoying. You know, I thought a lot of it was annoying. Some of the sounds and some of the whining, I guess. She did a lot of whining, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, come on, girl, like, eat your dessert. Like, you made this bed, you know, you know what's up. So
Eat your dessert.
They're actually okay, so it's that one is actually based on the facts in the case of M. Valdemar, which is a short story.
yeah, that's
And
a good one.
yeah, and it's I like the idea of like somebody being mesmerized like right before death, and then like it having some kind of like effect like on the consciousness or whatever, like capturing the consciousness somewhere disembodied, and like that pulling something, that the way that it is laid out storytelling wise is incredibly fascinating. Did they deliver on it? Not really. It was gross though. The like putrid body was really gross. I liked the metronome that's ticking back and forth, and then it like picks up and like goes down into his heart because it's like the heartbeat, right?
Oh, that was cool. Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that. I like the ghosts too, like the like spectral, like it was just kind of like a liminal experience there. It wasn't the best thing I've ever seen, but I thought that it was interesting, and I think maybe that placing it next to that other one made me like it more too.
I gave it 0 chuds. I said no chuds for you, like the soup Nazi.
I gave it 2. 4 for Romero, 0 for Argento. Cut the difference.
I gave 5. Yeah, for
Yeah.
the storyline, I thought it was solid, a pretty fun rendition, but the execution was just kind of like, I didn't care if everybody in that house died any old kind of way. So
Same.
there's
Damn,
that.
Shuddy.
I hear that. So now we're on to the top 2. Apollo 18 is the next on my list. And I was surprised at the reviews that I saw. I went into Apollo 18 thinking this is going to be dismal because it got like 1 star on a lot of things and people were mad about it, and it wasn't terrible. It wasn't bad. The premise was fucking cool. Could they have done it better? Yeah. But the premise was really good.
I
Yeah.
agree. It'd be hard to do it better too. I mean, it's in space. I mean,
Yeah.
with stuff nobody's ever seen, like how do you make something nobody's ever seen horrifying? So I would agree. I thought it was solid. I liked it. I'm glad to have seen it. I mean, space horror is a special type of scary.
Love
Me
I
too.
love it.
Very isolating. Just overall fucking freaky, and it's
Yes.
giving a whole bunch of no's. Like, no, wouldn't do this. I definitely wouldn't do
Mhm.
that. So you want to have that feeling, like, no. So I liked it.
So one thing I really love about space horror is because I'm a claustrophobic, I literally can't do like caves and stuff like that. Like the ones like The Descent, I got sick from watching that. Like I couldn't do it. But space horror, because it is still so claustrophobic and it still like gets it freaks me out that way, but it is wide open. And because it's like wide open, endless like infinity out there, it neutralizes it enough that I can enjoy it. And it's terrifying. It's uniquely terrifying for me because of it.
Mhm.
That, and I like all the things about like pressure and stuff and the things it can do to the human body terrify me as well. Like being in a spacesuit and dependent upon
Oh,
it keeping
sorry.
your bones, your body from imploding or exploding or like whatever the fuck it does.
I'm too high for that. Too high for
Yeah.
that. You are freaking me out. I think space horror is so fucking scary. It's so scary to me for all the things that you guys say, and it's like one of the unique things that like really freaks me out because it's like it's just so unknown. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a bad time watching this movie. I thought it was very decent and scary with the little critters that are rocks, but they're not rocks. Stop it.
Yeah.
I thought it was a rock and I put it in my pocket. It will get me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, 100%. That's the way I'm gonna die. If there are like little critters that are gonna fucking infect me and fuck me up that start as rocks, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. I love a
I
good
am
rock.
a rock collector. I'm holding one right now. I'm literally
We
holding a
collected
rock right
rocks. We collected rocks together. Like
did.
it's gonna get me.
Not me. I would have been like, I could have stayed in Las Vegas, Nevada, if I wanted to look at miles and miles of rocks. Okay. So let's just keep these feet on the dirt. I'm telling you, like, just looking out of like a little porthole sized window and seeing the earth, that's scary. That is
Mhm.
I
scary.
will literally shit
Stop.
my pants in zero
Yeah.
gravity. I literally will. And I had this discussion with Jay via text because I really, really fucking mean it. You will not catch me in space, not for nothing. Even if they said the Earth, I literally said this to him. Even if they say the Earth is inhabitable, we are going to see ya. I'm gonna
Yes.
stay here and disintegrate with this planet. I'm not doing it. I'm not fucking doing it.
Same.
100%.
I am fascinated by space. I am fascinated by space
terrified.
travel. I'm fascinated by the stories that could be told in space, but my ass is staying here. Like
Uh-huh.
I have said so many times, any kind of apocalypse, I want to go out. And if I don't go out by the way of the apocalypse, you bet that I'm getting a shotgun and taking care of it. I am not outliving, I am not surviving, I am not doing any of that shit. That is not what I'm made for. I am allergic to everything. I can't see shit. I am made for the very like fluffy modern lifestyle. So I'm not going into space. Like what the fuck would contacts do in zero gravity? Like
I'll tell you what.
And if
Rip to your eyeballs.
your glasses are gonna get all fogged up inside of that helmet.
yep.
Wait.
It,
This is
yeah.
okay. So I think that space is extra scary because it it's so big, but you're confined to this tiny space. And I am that weirdo because I also have like deep thalassophobia. It's deep in all of my molecules, and I am that person who genuinely feels if you go deep enough to the bottom of the sea that you're in space. And it's an infinite loop of terrifying. We don't know what's down there. We
Or
don't. We know there's aliens because, they came to party or whatever. But the
yeah.
mermaids have not called me. So I don't know what's going on down there.
I will say my favorite part of this movie, other than just the mental probe into what's up there, what's out there, are we in trouble kind of thing, is this like anxious attachment to humanity. Because I know for me, Sergeant Nathaniel Nathan, or whatever his name was, Nate, I would have left him so many times. I would have pushed him off the rover when he was first seeing hallucinations and stuff like that. I mean, but think about it. You're up in space. This is the only other human being. Are you so quick to write them off to death and infection and rock aliens? I don't know. But in my mind, I'm thinking, don't go down into that crater. He's a dead man. Don't walk across
No,
that moon desert. That's a dead man, like
that
he
was
just,
actually so stupid and scary. Why are you going
oh,
into a space cave? You have to be trained to go into a regular cave. This is a space cave.
right.
You're the experts here. There's no other people.
But that feeling of desperate attachment to the only other person like on the planet is pretty scary. Like, are you so quick to let him die? You gonna be up there by
Yeah.
and he was not a pilot. This other guy was the pilot.
Yeah. Well, the other guy was scary as hell. And like, I can't imagine being stuck in a small space with this lunatic and like having to sleep underneath him and he's dripping blood on me.
I would not have pulled the thing out of him. I would have been
No.
like, oh, there's something in there. You're going to have to exit the vicinity really quick. I'm just going to close this hatch. All right. See you later.
You
I mean,
sleep outside now.
you got to sleep outside tonight. At the very least, go sleep in the other pod. Like,
Mhm.
why didn't they send him out to that other pod way sooner? He just was like, it's okay. I got you, buddy. I'll do space surgery. I mean,
There's always that kind of thing though. Like in all the alien movies that we've covered on this podcast, it's kind of like that. Like they take way too many chances with foreign bodies and familiar bodies. Okay? Like have they never heard of anything ever? It's an emergency. You don't know what that is or what's going to happen. You have to quarantine,
To be fair, this was supposed to be set in like the 70s, so this is,
I guess.
maybe they just didn't have so many Star Trek series to warn them about the things that can happen.
well, the
You know?
government was wrapping it up pretty tight at the end. They had the biohazard containers out. They was popping everything, moving inside. I don't know. They
That's
had an
true.
idea. Maybe people shouldn't go to other planets, get infected by aliens, and come back. I don't know.
I mean,
So
we get infected by people here, like who sneeze in our mouths on the bus. So I don't know.
Huh. Yep.
I was a little bored in the beginning, but I genuinely felt like it picked up significantly. I thought it was a very solid space monster movie, and they're like small and they're rocks. I feel like they're very inconspicuous, whereas these other a lot of the other aliens are like clearly they're fucking aliens.
Yeah.
And they're gonna harm you.
Well, and when we think about what alien life might be, a lot of times we're putting like what we understand about life on Earth on that. So the fact that they are something that is completely like unfathomable, like as far as like being living, like rocks or something, is a little bit more likely, I think, in a way. The thing about this movie that didn't work for me was the pacing. It was a little all over the place. Other than that, I just I don't see what other people like. A lot of the reviewers were like, this is boring. Like, please watch some of these other movies that we've watched if you think this is boring. Like,
Yeah. I didn't think it was boring.
I had a
didn't
good
need
time.
a character, but you know what? Not to die in space, so
Mhm.
just as well.
I wonder if all these people who are rating it like this are in some kind of club that we don't know about.
Yeah,
Where they
I'm
have, like,
very
their
curious. I would love to like interview somebody that like has like a really negative opinion about this, like especially
Let's put it
after
on.
we make them watch like Bud the Chud or like Hell House 2, you know, and see what they say. And I mean, even those, I still would put those above some of the shit that we saw last week. So,
Seriously.
and let's watch Bad Moon and then tell me that something's boring. Watch Bad Moon all the way through, tell me something's boring.
I can't recommend that. I just can't recommend doing that.
Like I fell asleep 3 times trying to watch that like 80s like sex fest that we watched last week. What was that called? Flesh Eater. I
Oh,
fell
Flesh
asleep
Eater.
3 times trying to watch that one. This was not anywhere near as boring. And there were things that were
No.
fine with that movie, and that movie was funny in a lot of ways, but it
Yeah.
was just there was no story. There was nothing to keep me going. This one I didn't fall asleep at all. I did pause it at one point and like came back to it, so it did get broken up into 2 pieces. But
Me too.
I didn't pause it because I was bored. I paused it because I had something to do. So it's not like, you know, the one that I had trouble, I did have to watch Hell House LLC 2 3 times. Once because I zoned out and started playing phone games too many times. Once because I fell asleep, and then I just watched like the second half. So
I thought it was solid. I immediately after it was done, I wanted to see a movie just like it that was a little bit scarier.
yeah,
Just a little more, but just like it would be fine, you know. So I thought it was solid. I gave it 3.5.
they should make another one. Like,
yeah,
I love fucking space horror. Just like I love cosmic horror too. Like, bring in.
This is a good segue.
Like, let's fucking go.
Definitely a conspiracy horror too. I mean, the moon landing conspiracy kind of add into it.
I gave Apollo 18 3 chuds.
Oh damn! I gave it 2 chuds, even though I liked it.
I gave it 3. I liked it. Solid.
It was solid for me too. But From Beyond takes a step from just space horror into cosmic horror into Lovecraftian horror. And I have such a soft spot for this kind of shit. This could have been done better, but it was very interesting in the way that it was done. So I was a fan.
This was such a pleasant surprise because I didn't read anything about it. I had no idea what it was about. I just went in there and I was like, wow, this is like my favorite stuff. Like when I say that I'm a gore girl, I don't mean like blood and you know, I don't mean that. I like that stuff, but that's not like my favorite stuff. This is my favorite stuff. Like the unreal people getting melded together or melded with other things or melded with themselves. The freaking all the floating space worms that look like dicks. Like this stuff is crazy. Like it's unbelievable. It's fantastical. And I love it. And I had no idea it was coming.
So it sounds like you're more of a body horror girl than a gore girl, because that's more what we're doing here, like this like transforming, which I think you would really like The Fly. There were some parts of it that were like the horniness, like we could have done without it, but I do think it was kind of funny the way it was done.
Very horny and slimy. It was gross, you know. It was gross, but I think that they gave us a basis for it. They was like, look, we're going to be dealing with the pineal gland. Stuff's going to get real gross. So I didn't hate that. I like the philosophy of finding a way to utilize the sixth sense That's kind of endlessly fascinating. But yeah, it could have been a little less rapey for me. You
Yeah,
know,
that's always a good thing.
Yeah,
Definitely.
could have taken that out of it. Just throw it away.
yeah, yeah. But it was out there. It definitely was unpredictable, which is nice. It was moving. There was a lot of movement. I also like the ridiculousness of, them saying, hey, here is a failed experiment that sounds totally 100% made up, and we don't believe this guy, but let's go run it again just for shits.
Okay, but also, this is what really bothers me about that thing. The whole goal of bringing this doctor was to see if this man was like mentally sound enough to stand trial. And she goes, I'm going to take you back to the scene of the crime and we're going to recreate this experiment. That was not your fucking job.
Right? Not to mention, okay, she does that MRI on him and she sees that his pineal gland is bigger. So obviously the thing about it is there are real life consequences to using this that are irreversible. So even if you could recreate the experiment and you could do something like, do you want to keep becoming like this weird chud monster with the dick coming out of your forehead? Like,
that was so graphic.
and then when he got his forehead dick bit off in the end.
I can't with a proboscis. I just can't. So keep your proboscises to yourselves. Like,
there was also a lot of like, it was just very, very like suggestive in everything in this movie. There was a lot of head sucking, like that giant worm thing sucking this man's head so hard his skull was enlarged.
Yeah. And then he went on that head sucking rampage where he was just grabbing and sucking their
what
head.
the hell?
And he was really going in for the eyeball first too.
He did. They were all a lot. It was so fun.
It was. Oh my god. This was like
So ridiculous.
The Void could have leaned into this kind of shit a little bit more and just been a little weirder. That's all. Like I think it had a better story, The Void did though, maybe.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't. This was so fucking just out there. And I think that that's what I liked about it the most. This is probably my favorite of all the movies we've watched so far for 31 days right now.
Yeah.
Did you see his shoulders when he was like naked, the Pretorius guy?
Yes, Pretorius was hairy as fuck.
I said that he looked like Jordan Peterson with a bad rug glued to his chest.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, and they were like zooming in on those shoulders. I was like, where is that even to have hair? Like,
there's
right
like
there.
little tufts of hair. They're not. It's not even like uniform. It's just like tufts.
I was like, please tell me that came from the other realm too.
Okay, Dr. Pretorius was so spooky in his like sexually aggressive, wants to be naked, I'm a really smart man kind of way. Like he would just stand. You know what he was giving in Hereditary? That like first naked man you see in the shadows, where all you can see is like his dick and his teeth. That's him.
Yeah, dick and teeth. This guy for sure, and fingers. The extra long.
Yes.
Yeah. Ugh.
Sorry, that took me out. I don't know if either of you have seen Everything Everywhere All at Once. It's a multiverse movie, and in one of the multiverses, they had really long hot dog fingers, and that's all I can think of. It was bizarre.
You know who I'm thinking of? My sexy boy Ragu.
Finger booty demons.
Hell yeah, dick fingers. Woo!
Yeah, that's exactly what was happening. Dick fingers. Yeah.
Like to see that recycled. Like that is one thing that I will never get mad at that trope being used. Dick fingers are it for me.
I just can't. And that this guy would like not die, and he just morphed into disgusting bubble gum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because every time you're under the influence of that energy, it's like it's transforming you further. It's further making you into this formless monster that that energy causes to a human body, which is terrifying. It's just like in The Fly, where he like keeps trying to do experiments to fix himself and just becomes more and more disgusting.
Peter Griffin when he wished he had no bones.
Oh yeah. Gross. Or like people from those weed commercials back in the day.
Said the same thing. Yes.
Yeah. You're like, she smoked weed and now look at her. She went from beyond and came back. Yeah. So it gave me the ick, but at least it like stuck to it the whole time, you know. It did
Don't
have
say
progressive conversation in there, one of which was what's the right thing to do in terms of how society treats people with mental illnesses like schizophrenia. So I liked that conversation. That was really serious. The two doctors back and forth, well, locking people away is not okay. Well, experimenting on them is pretty fucked up too. So, you know, that's a real ass question that we still have today. So,
yeah.
You know, and it had some questions about like consent and boundaries. Like, so the chick, she obviously wanted to investigate more and to explore more about the machine, but she got way more than she bargained for. So a woman can both, you know, get dressed head to toe in leathers, put on some lipstick and go moan on a machine. And she can say, you cannot finger fuck me with your weird outer space fingers. Yes. So, you know, I kind of liked that. I was like, you know what? That was a little bit more progressive in terms of underlying dialogue.
I think I love that.
I also think that what we saw with her was the way that Anne Rice should have written Rowan Mayfair, because
oh my God, yes.
She gets like seduced by the concept of it, and you see her turning slowly. Versus Rowan, who was just like, she wanted to fuck that ghost. She wanted to fuck that ghost the whole fucking
110% she wanted to fuck that ghost.
She was fucking all those firemen looking for that ghost.
Yes.
Yes.
She wanted that ghost stick. And there's nothing wrong with that. But
no, but like own it.
Be for real. Come on.
Yeah, be fucking for real, sister.
Come on, girl. The other thing I liked about this movie is his name was Crawford Tillinghast. What a fucking name. I love that name. Old Crawdaddy.
And it's no Michael Curry, that's for sure.
No.
R.I.P. black guy. The only black guy in the movie.
That is true. And he was the only sensible person in the movie, too.
Yeah, I like how hard he shook her. Like, look at yourself.
Right.
Stupid bitch.
You're acting crazy.
No, seriously. Like, I don't know. Any man who like tackles a basement, like larger than life serpent in his like what even kind of underwear are those?
That was a banana hammock.
Yes, there we go. A banana hammock with a kitchen knife. That's the hero story, people. Just saying.
He deserved to live.
He did.
He deserved to see the end like LL Cool J.
That was my favorite character. I like that he came with his curl bar because you cannot skip a day. No days off, okay, in your exercise. So,
I mean, I gave it 4 shots. I did. I had the best time watching this movie.
I gave it 4 shots too.
Oh, I gave it 2.5 because it was just really gross. But
yeah,
understand.
I definitely was like, what the fuck, which will keep you along for the ride. So,
oh man, are we the teenage boys of this podcast?
I guess so. I mean,
I definitely like knew I was in trouble when I was like a cross between Stef and Matt, when I was like listening to everyone put their rankings out. I was like, yeah, I'm disappointed in myself, but I'm living my authentic personality here. This is what
we're nothing if not ourselves, wholly and truly.
Like, I kind of wish I hadn't seen Castle Freak.
Oh,
sorry.
Yeah,
you can't put that back in the box.
No. And I often wonder, like, you can't have but like so much space on the floppy disk, and like you don't really get to choose like what you're gonna delete later to make room. And I'm like, what if my brain like keeps Castle Freak and I like forget some good shit? Like it'll keep you up at night. So, you know, just consider that next time you see a fucking ridiculous movie. So
Dude, if that was okay, but if that was the case, I'm already fucked. The movies that I have watched for this podcast.
right. So yeah, I'm getting concerned. They're filling up floppy, y'all. So yeah, that's all I had to say about From Beyond. It was weird and interesting.
Yeah.
That didn't make it good though. So that's where I stand.
Yeah. Yeah.
I liked it. I had a fucking
did.
good time.
You can find this podcast on the interwebs at ghostofthemagazine.site or on Twitter at GITM Podcast. You can find me on Twitter at WitchXPudding.
You can find me at Nocturnical.
And you can find me at Hedda_Mel.
Okay, bye.